All right, everybody, welcome into another edition of Tiger Talk. We're live here at Melvyn's Restaurant on Oliver Road in Monroe, Louisiana. And Stewart Shelby here, and joined as always by Neville head football coach Jeff Tannehill. Jeff, welcome back after a very eventful Friday night.
It's good to be back, getting ready for a new week, getting preparations done for the going across the river this week. So it's good to be here on Wednesday night. Relaxing here. Exactly.
It's a Wednesday night. As you all know, we had a very interesting game last week at Grambling. Eddie Robinson Stadium on the campus of Grambling we faced the Ruston Bearcats and kind of a tale of two halves if you were watching along with us. And we'll talk a little bit about it here as we get into tonight's Tiger Talk show. But it was Ruston comes out with a victory, 38-35. Last week on a rainy Thursday night, and you had Hurricane Delta. They've had enough hurricanes that they're starting to name them after airlines, and they've got. But it just really and let's get into it, Coach. As that game progressed, it was kind of back and forth, couple of 3 and outs. We're going to get into some highlights here in a little bit, but just for an overview. The way we saw it, the Tigers obviously won the first half. Bearcats won the second half, and the overtime was just kind of all over the dang place.
It was. I thought our team played with great effort all night.
Yeah.
There was great enthusiasm. Our kids were flying the football. We made plays in the first half, spectacular plays. And I thought we had a great scheme against their defense. They have a quality team. A great defense, a big offensive line,
yeah.
and I thought our guys held up great against their physicality. When you get in the second half, we had a few stops early. Then we had some mistakes that we made, and they were very costly. But I felt like our defense played great all night.
All night long.
All night long they played great.
Yeah, Ruston had an inability to move the football was apparent all night.
And I think, their kicking game, in the second half really kind of put us in a situation. The guy kicked it out of the back of the end zone a couple of times. And, so we started at the 20 on 2 or 3 occasions in the second half, but just couldn't really get things going. We weren't executing as well as we should. It seemed like that we just were one person away from making a big play, every play. And, this week we've got to make sure we execute a whole lot better. But that was the issue with the second half. It wasn't, I didn't think it was scheme-wise anything wrong. I didn't think they changed. I think they brought their intensity up the second half on defense. But offensively, we just didn't execute. And that was, partly some mental mistakes, and then partly we just were out physical a little bit in spots. But, in 2 halves – we're still tied up. The ball game's not over.
That's
and
right.
Then we get into overtime, as you very well know, it was all over the place.
It was one of the craziest games, at least the craziest overtimes I've ever been a part of. And we've talked about it a little bit. Is you kind of just sat there, and there was really no time for, reflection or anything on it. It just was a blur for the way everything kind of went down in that football game, and the ghosts of Eddie Robinson maybe there at Grambling State University. It wasn't, at the end of the day, it just wasn't the Tigers' night.
You're right. If in anything that went wrong, definitely went wrong in Ruston's favor. Even a couple of early whistles, that kind of thing, in the overtime especially. When you get into all of the things that went wrong, there's quite a few, about 9 or 10 to be exact. But
we're not going to get into all.
We're not going to get deeply into those because
I'll answer that question in 15 parts.
But in the overtime period, we came out, scored. They came out. We held them. 4th and whatever it was. They roughed the snapper on the extra point, put them at the 25, 1st and 25. I think they got a penalty. We sacked them twice. They got a no gain another time and another penalty, I think. So they got backed up to about the 45, 46-yard line. Mm-hmm. It's 4th down. We've got to make a play to knock the ball down. We tip the ball, knock it, hits off the guy's arm, and he catches it. And, that was a The percentages are 1 in a million, most likely.
A once in a lifetime
we have witnessed
play
it
for that.
We have witnessed it.
Yes,
it does happen.
It does. It is
Doug
possible.
The last time I remember, Doug Flutie did it in like '83 or something like that.
Exactly.
But anyway, and again, that comes under the execution part. That that's somewhat.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase that. That a lot falls back on me as a head coach. If we weren't prepared for that as we could possibly be, I'm gonna just be honest about that. But we were in position to make plays, and we just didn't make plays.
And really, after that, you'd think normally that's the type of play that ends games. Well, all that did was get you to the second overtime, where another couple of things happened. And at the end of the day, it just kind of was – it was Ruston's night. They come out with the 38-35 victory in a hard-fought ball game against a quality 5A opponent right there. And we've got a few clips from Thursday night, and we're good. Let's see if we can't get Will to throw these highlights up there. This first one was just you talk about your defense. Here's the opening drive for Ruston, and it had a 3rd and 13, but a nice job of tackling a man in space there to kind of keep them down there and forcing that 3rd and out on the first offensive possession for the Bearcats.
Our linebackers, Hinton Roberts and Lane Blue, had a great night the other night. Hinton separated his shoulder a little bit. He's going to play this week. I think he's fine. He's got it braced up. But they flew the football. The one thing that we've done, and I don't want to jinx this by any means, so I'm going to knock on a little wood, but we've tackled in space well the first 2 ball games of the season, and we did another good job the other night. The little sophomore quarterback they had was pretty elusive, and we did a good job of corralling him and making tackles all night on defense.
You're right, and then the Tigers get the football. Ruston punts it away, and here's Batterford on 3rd with a nice little run.
Brett, I almost called him Peyton. Brett played an outstanding game the other night. He ran the football extremely well. But I'm going to tell you one thing: that our offensive line did an excellent job last night, Thursday night, and we moved the ball inside the tackles pretty well all night long. We had a little trouble outside the tackles, but inside the tackles, I thought Will and Kane Day, our 2 tackles, did a great job. And then our center and our 2 guards, Landon, Logan, and Gilberto, all played exceptionally well. Our guards played Friday night like I remember them playing when I was a kid, and those little bitty guards, because we have small guards, getting inside those big defensive ends and kicking them out, and then kicking the tackles out on traps. I thought they did an excellent job. In fact, our guard, Landon Smith, was our player of the week on the offensive line, and he had an outstanding night. But I'll tell you, their scores were extremely high this week, and they all played really well the other night.
They'll definitely control the line of scrimmage from the offensive side of the ball. Against a very talented front 4 for Ruston. And so we get through there. We get down after that Batterford play. We end up the drive kind of stalls out, miss a field goal there, and it's still 0-0. And then I think Ruston gets it back, and then another 3 and out, and then we get to.
I think we had 5 3 and outs for Ruston in the first half.
Exactly. I mean, they could get nothing going on, and then we go to here. I think this is another special teams play. Yeah, this right here, a drive had stalled, but then a roughing the punter penalty keeps that drive alive.
William Reed did both the other night. I thought he has been a pretty solid player. We had a botched field goal in overtime the other night, but he's done a great job. He punts some, he kicks all the time, but that right there was him staying in there, driving the punt, staying with it, and then created a
penalty, and
whatever the penalty
right there, little over aggressiveness right there as they, but the Tigers. Your offense kind of sputters again. After that, you get that gift, punt it away down in there. Ruston gets the football back, but another 3 and out. And then you get the football back, and then had a lot of success moving the ball down the football field. And then what a lot of Neville Tiger fans just love to see, you put some big boys in the backfield and get the old mule train package out, and I think that's what we've got.
Well, we went
right
old school.
Next.
We've had that package in for a long time around here. And this is something that I have a lot of pride in. A.J. scores there behind a good piece of blocking of Hinton Roberts and Lane Blue. And, our offensive line, Inichi Sledge plays some defense, came over. David Jackson plays D-tackle, came over and played some guard. So we put some heavy bodies in there, handed to one of our good athletes, A.J., and who actually was our offensive player of the week. This week had a couple touchdowns and had a great night running football. But, he has a nose for the end zone. He finds it, and when we get down there close, he's one that's going to get the football quite a bit.
Well, and you score there. It puts the Tigers up 7-0 as we give the ball back to Ruston. Really the only drive that they had anything going in the first half. They get the ball down inside of – I think they were inside the 20 when this happened. And then, Dubose, that young man has started getting some looks in the last few weeks, and then it seems like on cue he comes up with a big play.
Well, big-time players make big-time plays, and we needed a big play right here. He didn't get fooled by the play action at all. It's in the right place, steps in front, and then he uses his speed to just outrun everybody to the end zone.
Yeah, 96 yards, and this is a long clip because it's a long run. That's a long – I'm glad I don't have to run 96 yards.
He was gassed after that too.
But 31's made some big plays for you in the defensive backfield in just the last couple of games.
He has really done an outstanding job. He's getting a lot of offers and a lot of looks from a lot of big schools and a lot of mid-majors here lately in the last couple of weeks. That right there, I think we had 3 or 4 teams call this past week about him, and so. He's done an excellent job. Our entire defense has played well, and our secondary has been exceptional the last couple of weeks. Myron Elam at safety, Zay Straughter at the other corner.
Yeah.
We've even had Jalen Blackson. We talked about him last week against Leesville, making a great play. So we've got a good secondary, a good core group, and they work extremely well together. And Dubose, he's that prototypical type corner.
Yeah.
He's tall, long-armed, long-legged, great speed.
Yeah,
we saw that on the return there. And he has a nose for the football, and that's why he's getting a lot of looks. So, but he's a great player, and we like him back there in the back end.
And then you come up, and what I thought was a great call after the big play right there. You try to get one of your own, and here's a little onside kick that was executed pretty well.
Well, William Reed's an excellent kicker, and he does a great job. He can kick it both ways at full speed almost, and he's a soccer kid, so he knows how to kick the football. And then Nick Gibson is our special teams player of the week. Recovered that football. He also made a tackle on a kickoff and that kind of stuff. And so he hustled after the ball, and it just bounced our way early on. And so we took advantage of it. I think we went down and scored again here.
Yeah,
just a few minutes.
Just a few minutes afterwards. Here's AJ again with his second touchdown of the night. This one from 24 yards out.
Yeah, really watch how he maneuvers through, follows his blockers, then he makes his move in space, and he just has a nose. When he gets close to the end zone, you can see right there that guy should have caught him and just didn't do it. He wanted to get to the end zone.
Some runners seem to have an innate ability to find that angle, the right angle, away from guys, and AJ seems to have that ability.
He's got some special gifts, I guarantee you there.
He can excuse me. He can definitely run the football, and he did last night. A couple of touchdowns, like you said. He's one of the players of the week that we'll talk about here in the second segment. And that pretty much closes out, let's see, almost to close out the first half, but Ruston's driving a little bit, but they have a fourth down coming up later on, and that really put the nail in the coffin there for the Bearcats in the first half. Here's that 4th and 4.
Right there you see Lane Blue and Myron Elam both make a great play from the backside. That just shows you the speed that Myron has off the edge of the defensive end. And, that's one of the reasons why he was player of the week.
I definitely have noticed that. A lot of times when you see Myron I always think he's kind of a defensive back because of the speed. I've seen him chase down running backs from behind. He did against Leesville, and he did against Ruston tonight. I believe we'll be talking with him in our third segment this evening, and as he's going to visit with us. So with that kind of wraps up the first half. Tigers lead it 21-0, and with that, we're going to wrap up our first quarter of play, so to say, here at Tiger Talk. We're live at Melvin's Restaurant. When we come back, we'll talk about the second half of football and a whole lot more. Folks, you're listening to Tiger Talk with Coach Jeff Tannehill right here on the Neville Tiger Network.
Stop into Central Station. We have many convenient locations ready for you. Stop in to rest, fill up on gas, and grab a great bite to eat. Central Station locations offer clean restrooms and easy access. Stop into Central Station today.
Looking for a place to watch Neville Tiger athletics in a beautiful setting? Well, look no further. Catahoula's, located on beautiful Bayou Désert in Monroe, is your place. They are the official watch station of all things Neville Tiger Network. Go see Colby and the gang there at Catahoula's and enjoy some fine food and a great atmosphere. That's Catahoula's on Désert Street in Monroe.
The used car giants are bringing something massive to the Twin Cities. One-click online purchasing. Visit usedcargiants.com. Choose the car you want from CarTown's huge inventory and buy it with one click. CarTown, the used car giants.
At Origin Bank, we know that customers have many choices when it comes to banking. We also know that customer service isn't just a department, it's an attitude. The Origin vision is to create unique banking experiences that impact the world around us. And that's why we don't just talk about customer service, we live it. It is our promise to you to treat every customer like the only customer every time. Stop by your local Origin Bank today and learn what it means to bank original.
Having back trouble? Well, Dr. Scott Martinez at Martinez Chiropractic may be able to help you out. Why don't you give him and his friendly staff a call, 654-4310, to set up your next chiropractic appointment. Martinez Chiropractic is located at 1828 Tower Drive in Monroe. Scott Martinez is a former Neville Tiger and supports all of Neville athletes.
Sparks Nissan Kia is your home of the largest lineup of Nissan and Kia in Northeast Louisiana. Titan, Rogue, Altima, Optima, Sorrento, and more. Not to mention our huge selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs to fit any budget. Our Finance Center will help get you behind the wheel with a lease or loan solution. Shop the area's largest inventory of Nissan and Kia online or give us a call. Put a spark in your drive. Sparks Nissan Kia, I-20 and 165 in Monroe.
Dr. Justin Tarver and his team at Tarver Dental can handle all of your general, restorative, and cosmetic dentistry services. Give them a call today to schedule your next appointment. 318-343-6006. All right, welcome back to Tiger Talk here. We're live at Melvyn's Restaurant. Stewart Shelby alongside Neville head football coach Jeff Tannehill. I'd like to thank all of our sponsors for tonight's broadcast. We got a new sponsor on board, and thanks to Dino and Steve Taylor there at Cartown for jumping on board here on Tiger Talk, and also to all of our sponsors, Darren Moody and his State Farm agency right there, Tenori's on Louisville, the good people at Go Family Health, Tiffany Terra and them have got on board with us as well. Scott Martinez at Martinez Chiropractic is in there, so I mean it takes
a lot. It takes a lot of people to make this stuff happen.
And we're very appreciative. I really, thanks to everybody. We've got people are coming on board weekly that want to be a part of this. They kind of see the vision that we had for this, Coach, and it's going to be a good thing. So we thank y'all. And just for everything else, if you're watching us, you can watch us right now on Facebook Live, on YouTube Live. You can watch us on our website. That's NevilleTigerNetwork.com. At NevilleTigerNetwork.com. You can even watch us on the Roku or your Amazon Fire Stick. We've got apps on both of them. So, I mean,
whatever that is.
Exactly. So, look, you let us handle all of that, Coach, and you worry about the Rebels this Friday night. So, Coach, we go into halftime on a rainy Thursday night. Hurricanes coming through, and it's 21-0 at halftime. And I noticed that there wasn't a play. There was no locker room to go into, or was that?
As beautiful as Gramblin's facilities are, the football facilities and the dressing rooms and all that, they put us in a really nice dressing room upstairs, and it just it's so far of a walk
to get up
and
there.
it's uphill.
Yeah.
Coach Johnson and some of the other coaches came down at halftime. They said, I don't know if I'm going back up. That's a long walk up. So, but you know, they had a beautiful place. The field was excellent. The facilities were great. And, you know, it's just they don't have elevators over there because they built that stadium before you had to have elevators, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's in a bowl.
It is.
If you
they
haven't
call it the pit.
The pit.
The pit.
That's
and,
right.
you know, Coach Wright, one of our coaches, played over there last year, and he said, you know, you got to get in there, but you got to get out of the pit. And can we get out of the pit? Well, we didn't get out of the pit the other night. But, you know, the second half, you know, came out. You know, I felt like we had a good scheme going. We didn't change schemes a whole lot. You know, we just couldn't. It was one block away. It seemed like every time. And when you go back and watch film, it's just hard, you know, to go, man, just one person didn't do their job, or you know, something like in that order. But you know, we cruising through the third quarter. Defense isn't giving up anything. We're working the clock, trying to get first downs. You know, hoping to pop another one here in a minute. You know, and then we had the first fumble. In the third quarter, late in the third quarter, about 3 minutes left, I think. And they actually, I don't think they capitalized on the first one. I think it was the second one.
The first one, I don't believe they capitalized. I think after that first one, there was a fourth down stop. Now that's in the fourth quarter to start the fourth quarter. That was after they scored those points there right at the end of the third
quarter,
right there. So I think they did end up driving down. Scoring right there, they kick back off, and then you have another little drive going right there.
Had a good little drive going,
and then once again, I've never seen this, and I know. I mean, everybody has said that. I've just never seen it. Just
it's called
a couple
a snowball
of
effect.
Yeah, I mean one fumble and then 3 consecutive fumbles on really 3 consecutive looks. It's just one of those things that doesn't happen. It just happened to happen to you last Thursday.
You know. Late in the third quarter, we're still, you know, this is the thought process going through everybody's
mind. You're up 21-7. You're good to go.
21-7. We basically got the fourth quarter left. You know, our thought process is, you know, if we get 3 more series and punt, you know, we'll still be ahead. Our defense hadn't given up anything. So throwing the ball deep, throwing the ball short, we didn't really come into the play. You know, I'm not going to do anything that's going to cause us to have a turnover and give the game away.
Yeah.
So what we did was decided we're going to run the ball and run the clock and take our time.
And you've been successful doing so.
All night long.
All night long.
We wanted to limit their possessions. And so, you know, that was our attitude. And I said, as long as we can handle the football, we're going to run the clock out, and they can't do anything about it. Mm-hmm. Well, it wasn't very much time later that all those words came back to haunt us. So, you know, all that being said, you know, I thought our kids played hard. We were still in the football game when the clock expired.
Yes, you were.
We were in overtime. I felt like we got a little renewed sense of energy there in overtime. And so, you know, when we got into overtime, the biggest thing was, you know, handle the football.
Yeah.
Make a play, and then our defense is going to do a good job. And, you know, all that was – the first overtime was going fine.
Yeah, well, and look, to get to that overtime, there's a couple of highlights here. Let's go to the tape. This was a fourth down stop right at the first of the fourth quarter where they were kind of down deep in your territory, and the Tiger defense, you had big Will Campbell and a couple of guys that were in there that made that stop, and that turned the ball over on downs. That could have been another – I mean, that could have put them up right there.
Right, it could have. You know, defense held strong there. The one thing that Ruston does a really good job is putting their big bodies together, and they did that the other night. The good thing was that, you know, I always say when they punch back. You know, it's going to be when they try to jam it down your throat, you know, we've got to jam it back in their throat. And I thought our defense did a great job last night.
I think they did. They in the second half, you saw a much overloaded line. They brought in an extra tight end and would kind of stack one side or the other. And then they were running the ball. I mean, it ended up being the 24 show. I'm trying to remember.
He had 19 carries or something like that.
I mean, that's a big boy. He was listed as 230 pounds. People say he was a little larger than that.
I think he was 250 or 260.
He was a hard one to bring down, but a tough runner, and they just decided they weren't going away with it. You're taking their ability to pass away. They didn't throw the ball hardly at all the whole game, and then you come that, and it's just they were trying to do the same thing you were trying to do there in the second half, and then we get there, and later on in the fourth quarter, here's another big stop the Tigers had as Ruston was trying to go down. This was late in the third, and that was a big sack right there.
That's Samari Wright. Samari Wright, he played that good. He feathered the dive, had quarterback there. The quarterback stuttered a little bit, and Samari made the play. You know, again, our scheme against them was dead on defensively, and our kids executed the plan. You know, a lot of what was going to have to happen this week coming up.
Mm-hmm. And, they did that. So we get through there. We go to overtime. You kind of kneel after that stop. You kneel it out to get out of, regulation. And then we get into overtime, and Neville gets the ball first. Lose the toss there to start overtime. You get the ball first, and then Batterford on a nice, I believe it was a third down play, a little drag route from Crawford, fights his way through there, and then makes a nice catch to start off the overtime scoring.
Well, the one thing I'll tell you, Ben did a heck of a job getting open. We had a kind of a busted assignment there. They ran a stunt on us, and we chased the stunt. If we'd have just let the stunt go, he would have been clean. But he got on through there, got open. The linebacker didn't see him. He came underneath. And, Brett, one of the most athletic moves he's had all year, what I really call a backyard move. He gave himself time to throw the football, let him come on open, and then threw him the football for a touchdown. And I thought that was one of the best plays that he's made this year.
Well, he did. He extended it out, rolled out to his right, kind of separated himself from the pass rush, and delivered a football, a very catchable football to Crawford, and Crawford comes up with it right there for the touchdown. And then we've spoken about what happened after that.
We can move on if you want to. We just skip right over that.
46. So we get the ball second in here, but here's third and goal in the second overtime, and I believe here's Will Campbell getting in on the action with the sack on third down.
Well, Will's talented. He's got big size. He's got good speed.
This is in that first. This is in the first overtime.
This is one of the sacks.
That was one of the sacks. That's right.
Yep, and that's the one extended them on back further into their whatever on the other side of the 40.
On the side of the 40. That's right. We're not going to say that. So as we get through that, and we all know what happens, Ruston ties it up, and in the second overtime, we get the ball. Ruston had scored.
Right.
And we're down a score, and then a nice throw here from Batterford to Bill Quarius-Gooden.
Bill had a size advantage most of the night with that corner over there, and we knew that, if we had to later in the game that we could go over the top there, and we went to him when we needed it the most right there. And Brett threw a very catchable football, and we had great protection there by offensive line, and Bill made a good catch.
Well, right there you tie it back up, and then we get into you have the ball first. It kind of rotates there in the third overtime, and we're unable to punch anything through, and a failed field goal attempt, and then it was up to the leg of Ruston's Caleb Phillips, who is a very, very good kicker.
Very talented
young man has a leg on him, and he boots it through, and that's how it ended, 38-35. Bearcats come out victorious, and Coach, we were talking about this this week, and Robert Lane and I were talking about it after the game. Everybody was still kind of in not saying shock, but it was just one of those deals where you just didn't know what to think about it. And the more you think about it, maybe the worse you could say, the worse it would get, but not really. This is one of those ones where you just say, hey, our defense played well. We have made a few more mistakes than I definitely like, but we definitely had plenty of opportunities to win the game. It's not like you weren't out of that game, and it's one that can probably teach a few lessons over the next weeks to come.
Well, there's no doubt about it. That was a typical Neville Ruston football game. Over the years, I think we're up a couple, but it's close to 50-50. It's always been years I've been involved with it. It's been a one-score game with the exception of a couple.
That's correct.
And it's just it's a good football game for both communities, and continuing playing this is something we've got to do because it's always a good game, and it's a good gate for both schools. And but when you talk about lessons, some of the biggest lessons you learn are from losses.
Yeah.
As bad as that sounds, so as a coach, you learn one, how your kids are going to react, and we'll find out this Friday how they'll react, to last week's loss. Two, are we going to do better at the things that we didn't do last week? That's the next phase of it. And three is it gains so much experience for the younger kids who didn't get to play a whole lot last year. That was a game they were thrown into the fire week 2 of a short season with short practices, and they've been thrown into the fire, to the wolves, however you want to say it, and they just gained a tremendous amount of knowledge, experience, hopefully confidence coming out of that game, knowing that they can play with a top 10 team in 5A.
That's right.
And then continue to get better each week and improve. And our ultimate goal is to win a state championship in 4A. It's not to beat Ruston, it's not to beat West Monroe. All those wins are always bragging rights. Our ultimate goal is to win the last game of the football season. So hopefully this will help us get to that point.
Well, hopefully it does. So final score from last Thursday night: Ruston topped the Tigers 38-35, and we'll get to the Players of the Week here coming up in that final segment. But we're going to talk to one of them as Myron Elam joins us, the talented Tiger defensive end, when we come back. Folks, you're watching Tiger Talk right here on the Neville Tiger Network.
From her start as a prosecutor in Monroe City Court, maintaining law and order in Northeast Louisiana's largest city, to serving as Monroe's chief legal advisor as its city attorney, Angie has the knowledge needed to ensure our courts are fair and accountable to the public. On November 3rd, please vote Angie Dios-Sturtevant for our next district judge.
I'm Christian Creed. Catherine and I have been your local injury attorneys for more than 20 years. At Creed & Creed, we don't use gimmicks. We value our community and the clients we serve. When you see a Creed & Creed ad, you know it's real. Real clients, real results, and no fine print. Don't be misled by out-of-town attorneys using dramatizations or paid testimonials. If you've been involved in an accident, call Creed & Creed today.
At Caples and Robinson Orthodontics, making beautiful smiles is our passion. Our doctors are Northeast Louisiana's trusted board-certified orthodontists, and they love helping our patients create the smile they've always wanted.
The used car giants are back, and they're crushing the competition, crushing high prices, and crushing bad credit. And they're bringing something even bigger. One-click online purchasing. Visit usedcargiants.com. Choose the car you want from CarTown's huge inventory and buy it with one click.
If you're tired of all the normal pizza options in Northeast Louisiana, give Mama DeLuca's Pizza a try. Mama DeLuca's Pizza is located inside the Subway at the corner of Lammy and Armand in Monroe. Go see Mr. Steve and Miss Connie and give them a shot. Their pizza's really, really good. Take it from me, I've been eating it for the last few years. Steve and Connie are ardent supporters of Neville Athletics. Give them a try today. Having back trouble? Well, Dr. Scott Martinez at Martinez Chiropractic may be able to help you out. Why don't you give him and his friendly staff a call, 654-4310, to set up your next chiropractic appointment. Martinez Chiropractic is located at 1828 Tower Drive in Monroe. Scott Martinez is a former Neville Tiger and supports all of Neville athletes.
Finally, it's fall, and that means football. Don't worry about the meal. Get it from Potta's Barbecue. We'll take care of the food for you with the best mouth-watering barbecue you have ever tasted. So this way, you can enjoy the family get-together. Come by Potta's and pick up the South's best barbecue. And if it's a big order, call ahead and we'll have it ready. Or use the waiter app for delivery. Potta's Barbecue on 165 North in Monroe and Splain Drive in West Monroe. Potta's Barbecue, serving the best barbecue since 1977.
Potta's, the South's best barbecue.
Thank you, Neville coaches, staff, and teachers for taking care of our family.
Now let us at Shell Chiropractic take care of you.
And welcome back, everybody, to Tiger Talk here. We're live from Melvin's Restaurant, as we are every Wednesday night at 6:30. Come by and join us. You can watch us tape this live every Wednesday night at 6:30. Thanks to Melvyn and Diane McCoy for being gracious hosts for the past, I can't tell you how many years we've been doing Tiger Talk here. First year we're doing it, I guess, over the World Wide Web here on with video. And lucky for you that we get to do this on video first. We've joined by Tiger defensive end, a senior, number 8, Myron Elam. Myron, welcome to Tiger Talk, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad that you got to join us. I for one have been very impressed with your play over the last couple of years, and we've talked about it. Had a few highlights there earlier in tonight's show where we talked about you chasing down guys, and early on in the season, I was thinking, you wear number 8, which is becoming more and more, I guess, fashionable for DNs, but for my day, they were all, 90s or things like that. And when you see a number 8 chasing down a running back, you normally think it's a free safety or something like that, not a defensive end. But, man, have I been impressed with your tenacity and speed.
Yes, sir.
So tell me before you got to defensive end, and what were you playing beforehand?
Freshman year, I was playing linebacker. And then when I got to my sophomore year, the first few games I was playing tight end, and it wasn't really like a feel for me.
Yeah, I got you.
So that's when they switched me to defensive end, and then that's when I got more into it.
Well, we talked about this. You really kind of came of age there your junior year, where you started to get in a few more reps there from that defensive end position, and you're a speed rusher. That's what you do. We want to get shot out of a cannon and get to the football, right, or
yes,
get to
sir.
the quarterback, which I've seen you do very effectively here this year. So, what do you, where did you kind of get that fire? Is there anything that you think about before you line up there going against a big tackle or anybody, or you just,
I just focus on using techniques and making sure that I do my job so I can better support the team.
Well, and I think that's pretty good. And part of one of those weapons, we talked about your speed. Let's be honest, as far as size, you're a very tall young man. You're long, and you got some long arms right there. But, you don't weigh 330 pounds. You're a slight guy, but you make up with it, I believe, with your strength and your speed.
Yes, sir.
So with that, talk about a play, maybe one of your favorite plays over the last couple of years. It's something that stands out to you. Was there anything like one or two plays that you really was like, all right, man, I think I really like this. This is what I'm out here for.
My favorite one would be when we played Leesville, when I had that sack when he rolled out.
Yeah.
And that was my favorite one.
You came from the backside. I remember that play, and chased him down as he was rolling out to his right, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir.
And that was where I was like, where did the safety come from? How was he back there? And then I realized it was you, and very impressive right there. So, is there anybody like offensive tackles or any tight ends or something that play from around here that have maybe stood out that you look forward to maybe going against?
It would be our left tackle, Will Campbell.
So you get to go against him a little bit in practice, right?
Yes, sir.
And he's one of the best offensive tackles in the state, if not the country.
Yes,
so
sir.
Do you think playing across from him has made you a better defensive player?
Yes, sir. I believe that.
And let's talk about it now. It's Coach Herndon still coaching the defensive line.
Yes, sir.
And you've been through Coach Herndon for probably 4 years now.
Yes,
and let's maybe about Coach Herndon. I know he's a pretty demanding guy. I know in the weight room, and he's been coaching D-line at Neville for a few years. Y'all as a group, and along with Coach Herndon, with y'all's scheme this year, what do you expect for the rest of the season?
To be honest, I feel like we got it. We getting closer as a group, and that can be beneficial to the team. And we work hard every day at practice, getting better, just focusing on a goal.
It seems that you've got 5 or 6 guys that are kind of rotating, not quote-unquote not first string, second string, anything like that. You've just got a rotation of about 6 guys, some bigger guys in the middle and some speed guys there on the edge. they ever try to switch that up? I mean, do you drop back? I mean, kind of get back in your linebacker days? How's that been working here? Or do you just do whatever they kind of suggest you do?
We really drop back whenever they most likely going to pass, like third down situations.
So just kind of fake something and then move forward and try to get that. I got it. So, well, tell me about, as we've gotten through this. I mean, you've been back in school for the last few weeks now. It seems is things kind of getting maybe somewhat back to normal for you through all the the what we've been calling the COVID era here.
Yes, sir. It's getting more like back to how it used to be, and I feel like we got it.
You got. Hopefully now. Let's talk about maybe the Rebels here. This will be the second time you faced them, I believe, as a varsity player.
Yes, sir.
They were over at our place last year. Now you get to go to Rebel Stadium, and this year it's not going to be 13,000, 14,000 people like it normally is. Well, you think that might help you a little bit? Less cowbells, if you will, over there at West Monroe?
I think we got it because it's more of revenge because they beat us last year at home, so now we're taking back what's ours. Well,
that's a good way to go about it. Anything that sticks out, like what you guys have to do maybe as a key to kind of keeping West Monroe in check?
Yes, sir.
So, they like to run the football. They always have. Generally, there's a few people that you've got to kind of take care of a lot of assignments. They've been running that same type of offense for a long time, for at least probably 20, 25 years. So I think what you guys have put together, though, between the front seven, and we've mentioned the back half of the back four that you guys have on defense, one of the best defenses I've seen Neville put together, and I'm really impressed with you guys so far this year.
Yes, sir.
Well, Myron, I really appreciate you coming in and joining us here on Tiger Talk, man. And anything you'd like to say? Anybody want to say hello to out there that might be watching you here tonight?
I would like to say hello to my mom. She's watching right now.
Good boy. That's right. I probably need to say hello to my mom too, but she's probably not watching me right now. So, well, look, Myron, thanks for joining us here on Tiger Talk. Good luck the rest of the year.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, folks, when we come back, we will be in our final segment here on Tiger Talk. We'll talk about the players of the week from last week and give you an insight into this Friday night's game versus the West Monroe Rebels. Stay tuned. This is Tiger Talk right here on the Neville Tiger Network.
This is not a dramatization or a paid testimonial. I'm Christian Creed, and let me tell you, car wrecks can wreck lives. As a former insurance adjuster and as a licensed accident investigator, I've handled hundreds of accident claims. If you or a loved one have been involved in a car accident, no matter how big or small, let me put my experience to work for you. Call Creed and Creed. We're serious attorneys for serious injuries.
The used car giants are bringing something massive to the Twin Cities. One-click online purchasing. Visit usedcargiants.com. Choose the car you want from CarTown's huge inventory and buy it with one click. CarTown, the used car giants.
We have inventory at Sparks Nissan Kia in Monroe, including huge lineups of popular new Nissan and Kia models, plus more pre-owned options from the best trade-ins. This means we can offer you more choices and competitive pricing. So let's make a deal. Shop the largest selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs, more than any other dealer in Northeast Louisiana, and put a spark in your drive today. Shop in person or online now at drivesparks.com.
Having back trouble? Well, Dr. Scott Martinez at Martinez Chiropractic may be able to help you out. Why don't you give him and his friendly staff a call, 654-4310, to set up your next chiropractic appointment. Martinez Chiropractic is located at 1828 Tower Drive in Monroe. Scott Martinez is a former Neville Tiger and supports all of Neville athletes.
Whether you're dining in or grabbing to go, at Nukes, we love to share great food, to delight with new flavors, to celebrate every bite. Join us at Nukes Eatery.
Finally, it's fall, and that means football. Don't worry about the meal. Get it from Pata's Barbecue. We'll take care of the food for you with the best mouth-watering barbecue you have ever tasted. So this way, you can enjoy the family get-together. Come by Pata's and pick up the South's best barbecue. And if it's a big order, call ahead and we'll have it ready. Or use the Waiter app for delivery. Pata's Barbecue on 165 North in Monroe and Splain Drive in West Monroe. Pata's Barbecue, serving the best barbecue since 1977.
Partners, the South's best barbecue.
Tommy Hayes is running for district judge to restore confidence in our courts, keep our communities safe, be accountable to the public, and ensure fair and equal justice for all citizens. Tommy Hayes, the right vision for our courts, the right experience, the right choice as our next district judge.
All right, everybody, welcome back into Tiger Talk here. We're live at Melvin's Restaurant, as we are every Wednesday night here at 6:30. Stewart Shelby alongside Neville head football coach Jeff Tannehill, and enjoyed talking with Myron Elam last segment.
He's a great kid. He's worked extremely hard to put muscle on and work on his speed, and you know that's the best part of his game is he's so fast off the football, and he can tackle in space. He can chase quarterbacks. He ran down running backs from the backside down a lot of times the other night, and he's been a tremendous asset to our defense.
Yeah, he definitely is. He's impressed us. And Coach, we talk about, let's kind of wrap up everything from last week. We got a few players of the week. Let's start on the defensive side of the football.
We had a lot of guys that played really good the other night. Dubose played great, had a 95-yard interception. Lane Blue had about 9 and 10 tackles at linebacker. So did Hinton Roberts. They both had a great night. And then Myron Elam, was our player of the week, had a tremendous night on defense. And then, you got guys like Kareem Moore and Griffin McGee that both played really well the other night. We're so glad to have Kareem back. He's done a great job getting over that hamstring, and then he's played really good the other night. And then on the offensive side of the ball, I felt like our offensive line played really good. We did some things that during the game schematically that they adjusted to really well, and I thought all of them played well. And then Landon Smith, as I said earlier, our right guard, he played great the other night, graded out the highest. And then, of course, the other ones, Landon Sorrell and Gilberto, both had a good night. I felt like our guards and centers I felt like they really played good the other night. They improved a lot between week 1 and week 2. And so, that's why we had success running the football. And then A.J. Allen had a great night with a couple touchdowns.
He did.
And, Bill Query's good and caught that touchdown in overtime. He's been a weapon for us. He hadn't caught a lot of balls, but he attracts a lot of attention.
Well, he's been open a lot. He's been really waiting for him to get that big play. And they've been very close, Batterford and Bill Query. He's so tall and so fast that he gets the matchups. He's a horrible matchup for most high school defensive backfields, and when that starts clicking, you're going to see a lot of big plays out of those two.
Well, he's going to garner a lot of attention with the safeties and the corners, so hopefully that'll open up the underneath stuff. So we can, our sure-handed people, Ben Crawford had a great night the other night catching the football, and he did a tremendous job blocking. I mean, that's 2 weeks in a row. He caught the touchdown in overtime, and you could tell just by his excitement over his touchdown, during overtime, he was fired up. And, look, he comes to work every day at practice. I mean, there's not a day he takes a day off in practice. So I'm proud of the way that we played the other night and the effort that we put forward. We just got to fix some small things that are going to make us a lot better later on.
Well, you're saying fixing those small things, kind of out of the frying pan into the fire as you go from the Ruston Bearcats at Grambling to at least the largest high school stadium that we have that I know of in the state. Now it's not going to be as full as it normally is, but it's still West Monroe. And it's talking about a team in West Monroe that we haven't beaten in a long time. But it's also sitting at 1-1, which is fairly rare for the Rebels this early in the season. But nevertheless, it's going to be a tough matchup.
It is. They're very well coached. Coach Arledge does a tremendous job hiring good assistant coaches. He does a tremendous job coaching the defense. Their defense has always been the strength of their team, and it's not any different this year. The one thing is, you're going over there and playing in the big stadium, your eyes get big, and they got the big old scoreboard over there with a big sign on the back and all that stuff. It makes for a really good atmosphere to play in, but it can be daunting sometimes when you're sitting there and intimidated, by that. If you get over there and get over all of that and just realize that the field's 100 yards long and just we're going to play a football game just like we would at Ruppel Stadium, that's the one thing we've got to get over with. And then, too, they're very well coached. They're going to play hard. It's Neville and West Monroe. I mean, we're about a driver's length away from each other across the river. So
maybe one of your drivers.
Well, I don't know. But anyway, it's not that far.
Yeah.
But, I think both staffs know each other really well.
Yeah.
We talk a lot of football back and forth. And so, they know us, we know them, they know our guys, we know their guys, and our kids are close to some of their kids. So, again, it's a big community game. Sometimes the Monroe and West Monroe don't see eye to eye on a lot of things.
It's a crosstown, your typical crosstown rivalry,
cross river rivalry.
There you go, and hopefully, I'm a big believer of the old one row type scenario with Ouachita Parish. But either way, when West Monroe and Neville, people's ears perk up, and it is a rivalry. It's one that there's stories that go back, through the 80s and everything else. But, ever since Don Schaus took over and made that program what it is today, it's been a very heated rivalry between the Tigers and the Rebels, and we've actually had to take a few years off because of some of the heated of that rivalry. But now we're back, and I'm glad that the Tigers and Rebels are playing again. This time over at Don Schaus Field, named for Coach Schaus, who left us a couple years ago. But the Rebels coming out, their first game of the year, Karen Crow comes up here and really surprises them, kind of with a 14-0. You don't see that, a shutout to the home team at West Monroe very often. And then they rebounded against another perennial power in Evangel, where they put up a bunch of points against Evangel in week 2. So they get blanked in week 1, then they drop 50 on Evangel in week 2. What do you get out of this? I mean, what was the difference?
Well,
or you don't have to tell it. We're not going to give all your secrets away.
Well, it's one of those things where we don't get a whole lot of good film on it. The Crow Dogs, which Karen Crow, that's what we kind of nickname them.
They play in the Crow Dome.
They do play in the Crow Dome.
It's the only open-air Crow Dome in southern
and we have
Louisiana.
Played there a couple of times.
Yes, we have. It's the darkest place in Louisiana.
It is.
Even with the lights on.
But we knew a lot of rumors after the end of the season last year were flying around and how good they were going to be, how physical they are. They had a big senior class this year, good quarterback. But, they line up and run a split back veer. That doesn't really help us on offense a whole bunch. So then they play Evangel, which Evangel is not the Evangel of old. They had graduated a lot of seniors. They play a bunch of young kids, and so they take it on the chin. So we don't get a whole lot of film from their ones. So, we hadn't gotten a lot of film. So we've used, last year's film and that kind of stuff. So that we use to really scout those kids and find out who their returners are and how they played us in the past. And so we use all that. But, when you talk about this rivalry, going back to, Neville dominated forever until I believe it was 1993 was the first time they beat us in
93. That was my senior year. They beat us pretty good that year, too.
Yeah. Well, they won the state championship that year.
That is right.
And Coach Schaus came, I believe, in 89 or 90, right after I graduated, so I'm showing my age there. But anyway, they've had a tremendous run. Nobody in North Louisiana has beaten them since 1995, and by the way, that was the Neville Tigers that beat them in 95.
In 95, the Tigers won the 5A state championship that year.
Yeah, so we were pretty good that year too. So, but that's just something that whoever becomes the first team, and the streak's going to end soon. So hopefully it's this Friday. But it's a tremendous streak they've had for a long time, 25, 30 years, and so that's one thing that the change of I guess, power, would you say?
Yeah.
Over those years, and that's kind of heated the rivalry quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And, and I don't believe Coach Showles and Coach Brown ever really got along a whole bunch anyway. So, but
definitely two schools of thought.
Well, they're two Hall of Fame coaches,
they
that went at it for years, and our programs have both mirrored each other quite a bit. I mean, they've had tremendous success. We continue to have tremendous success, mm-hmm. even though we didn't play them for a long time. Glad that we have them back on the schedule.
Definitely.
It's a measuring stick every year when we play them. You find out how good you are when you play them. They find out how good they are when we play them. When they play us. So, I look forward to this game. This is to me a truly test of coaching, physicality, stamina, how the kid's going to react when they get down. I mean, it is a true playoff atmosphere, just like Ruston was last week. It prepares you for the playoffs, and that's why we play such a tough schedule. And the other thing is there's not a lot of people that play us, West Monroe, Ouachita, Ruston either. So.
Exactly. Well, I mean, the way you go, you scheduled the old District 2-5A, which was arguably the toughest district in football in Louisiana for years and years and years. It's Ouachita, Ruston, Neville, and West Monroe. And if you went back to the start,
start of time, is that what you're about to say?
Exactly. Neville and Ruston were always there. Ouachita comes in the 80s, and then West Monroe comes in the 90s. And there was a streak there of, I believe it was, 18, 19, I'm not in my stat, of there was only 2 years where a member from the District 2-5A didn't either play for or win the state championship until Neville ended up going to 4A, and that kind of slowed it down a little bit. So it's just one of those deals. Great football has been played within 30 miles of Monroe, Louisiana, and over the years, historically, it's been that case, and it still continues today, and it's going to be an exciting atmosphere at West Monroe. And folks, if you want to watch that football game in person, there's still a few tickets left. If you want to buy some visiting tickets, go by the ticket office there at Bill Ruppel Stadium. Go see Mr. Gregory and his crew. I think there's a few left. They're selling them for $10 a piece. How many you can get? I believe you can get.
I don't think there's a whole lot of limit. I think 6 is the limit this week.
I think 6 is the limit right there.
It's a week-to-week thing,
As things are moving right here. But there's plenty of room to spread out there at Rebel Stadium. We're also going to be broadcasting that as well for you if you can't make it over there, and if you or just happen to be out of town right here on the Neville Tiger Network in a few avenues. So be looking forward to doing that. That's me and Robert Lane on the call on Friday nights. And interesting deal.
By the way, I want to tell you, y'all told me how many viewers we had last Friday night of the ball game, and that was just floored me that, 10,000. Somebody said 10,000 views the other night.
We're up to
oh my gosh,
a little over 15,000 views of that.
Oh wow!
And you make an exciting game. It helps us with the views, man. That's how
it's
it goes.
A little more exciting than I wanted.
Exactly, but that's what happened. But what it does do is bring attention, and this is our goal, is to bring attention not only to Neville Tiger football, but Neville High School itself. This thing is going to kind of spurn a lot of little offshoots. We're looking forward to it. Hopefully we'll have a few little extras for you this weekend. We brought in, or this Friday, we brought in Vince Burks last week, who's a very colorful assistant basketball coach there at Neville, and he's going to have a little segment for us this pregame Friday. It's Mr. Pick'em Grissom segment that he does. And we're partnering with, Adam Hunsucker at the News Star and doing a few things throughout the week. So we got a lot of stuff going there, and then look for, obviously, the school things that we're going to be doing when we're allowed to have assemblies and such extracurricular activities. They're coming. I promise you. We've got that. But for now, it's football season. We've got the Rebels this Friday night at West Monroe High School. So, Coach, any final thoughts here for we take this to Friday night?
Well, I just appreciate all the support. Everybody wants to win a football game every Friday night at Neville High School. Everybody wants to win, and nobody wants to win any worse than I do. But, taking these young men and turning them into men when they graduate is one of the most important things. And moving on into this Friday night, our kids have grown in a week, and you can just tell in practice how much they've grown, how much I think they learned from Friday night, and how much that they've gotten better this week. We've had a tremendous week of practice. We shut the door on the Ruston game on Friday night. I told them they had till like 11 o'clock Friday night, and then we're on to West Monroe. And they have done nothing but work all week, and it has been a joy at practice this week to see them get better. And I hope it all pays off on Friday night when we go over to West Monroe at Don Schaus Field.
Hope it does. Good luck on Friday night, Coach. And look, for everybody out there watching, thank you for all of our staff here bringing this project to you. Brett Braddock, Jason Ewing back there, Will Anders, Jerron Strickland. Thank you guys for for putting this stuff together, and as always for Jeff Tannehill. Good luck. I'm Stewart Shelby. When you next see us, it'll be Friday night at Rebel Stadium. We look forward to seeing you there right here on the Neville Tiger Network. Good night, everybody.